Well, a fine good afternoon, everyone. This is Patricia, and I am traveling for history. I'm in Burlington, Vermont today on the University of Vermont campus, UVM. Groovy UV. When I was here, yeah, hard to believe. I mean, I went here in the 80s, and groovy, I'm pretty sure, is a relic from the 1960s. But hey, who might complain? I just always thought it was fun to say groovy UV, and it was something that was said around here at the time. Anyway, I'm standing here in front of this magnificent building, which is called Old Mill. The Old Mill building, prominently located on the University of Vermont campus green, overlooking the city of Burlington and Lake Champlain, has throughout its long and varied history served as a symbol of the university. UVM's original college building was constructed on the present site of Old Mill in 1802. Designed by John Johnson of Burlington, the rectangular, four-story, hip-roofed brick structure was modeled after Nassau Hall on the campus of Princeton University. The building contained a two-story chapel, which is actually right here, Dewey Lounge. Recitation rooms, library, museum, medical hall, chemical laboratory, and 46 student dormitory rooms. Except for a brief period in 1814, when the college's activities were suspended during the war with Great Britain, the structure remained the sole academic building of the university until it was destroyed by fire in 1824. After the loss of the first college building, the University of Vermont began immediately to rebuild and to enlarge its home with fire protection in mind. In 1825, North College and South College were constructed as dormitories, with General Lafayette laying a cornerstone. That's the Marquis de Lafayette, by the way. 4 years later, Middle College was erected between the earlier buildings, but separated by 8-foot fire breaks. Middle College was longer and deeper than the flanking buildings, and its central pavilion was topped by a gold dome. Designed and constructed by master builder John Johnson, this Federal-style brick building housed the two-story university chapel, lecture and recitation rooms, library, museum, and other institutional facilities. In fact, this is a rendering of the North, Middle, and South colleges as they appeared in about 1835, when they were three separate buildings. Wood engraving from the American Magazine, Volume 3, Number 7, 1835. It's from UVM Archives. North, Middle, and South colleges of Old Mill were joined in 1846 to form what was said to be the state's largest building. Parapeted firewalls replaced the open fire breaks, although it was still necessary to leave the building to walk from one section to another. Some thought the resulting long, narrow brick building resembled a grist and textile mill, so UVM's main campus building came to be known as the Mill and eventually Old Mill. This picture is circa 1870, also from the UVM archives. Old Mill served the university for the next 35 years, with few changes. But in 1881, Burlington native and benefactor John Purple Howard donated $65,000 and enlisted architect Jean-Jacques Rousseau Randall of Rutland, Vermont, to modernize the Old Mill in the popular Victorian Gothic style. Also from UVM archives, this is the Old Mill after the 1882 renovation. Note the gold dome is missing on that. As the Burlington Free Press noted on December 16, 1881, these changes, with others contemplated in the plan, including a much higher and more artistic tower, will give the building a much finer front and make it, beyond question, a very imposing and handsome structure, and one which in its enlarged proportions, higher and more healthful rooms and architectural elegance will be much more suitable for its purposes, as well as more ornamental than the present building. The 1882 renovation of Old Mill was a huge undertaking that involved completely rebuilding the front and side facades, raising the ceiling heights by 4 feet, and adding a 4th floor with dormers for dormitory space. Public opinion was mixed when the gold dome was dismantled and replaced with a 150-foot tall steeple tower, but the virtually new building was praised for its more convenient interior. The dome, this prominent object, came very naturally to be regarded by alumni and the permanent residents of Burlington with special interest. Numerous and sometimes pathetic had been the requests from distant and long absent graduates of the college that whatever might be done with the rest of the quote-unquote old brick mill, its shining dome, the great landmark of the valley, might be preserved in its integrity. It seemed, to the older alumni especially, to be a sort of exponent of the work and aim of the university. That's from the Burlington Free Press, dated August 15, 1882. From the Burlington Free Press of May 18, 1882, the old college dome is no more. This morning, the last vestige of the ancient landmark and surveyor's beacon disappeared. Verily, the glory of the hill has departed. The 1882 renovation of Old Mill provided suites of dormitory rooms in the north and south wings up the upper floors. These rooms were heated by cast iron wood stoves. Fine, colorful wallpapers covered the plaster walls and ceilings. This next photo is a picture of the interior student room, top floor, and it's circa 1890 from the UVM archives. Pretty nifty, no? Who doesn't love that? Have to chuckle, this street has not been busy at all until I start filming, of course. Anyway, fire again played a part in the history of Old Mill when lightning struck in 1918. By the time it was extinguished, the blaze had severely damaged much of South College, especially its roof and 4th floor. As Converse Hall was complete and fraternities had become popular, Old Mill was no longer needed to provide dormitory space for the university students, and as a result, the entire 4th floor was closed off. The dormers were removed, and the 3rd floor dormitory space was converted into classrooms, offices, and a laboratory. So this next picture I'm going to show you was a former student dormitory room in the Old Mill attic, north wing, looking east. And you want to note the transom window above the door and the flue hole for a stovepipe. This photo was taken by Thomas Visser in 1988. There's the picture right there. The transom window is above the door, that's that rectangular piece, and the flue is to the right, just above where the wall is showing down to the lath. After being closed for several years during World War II, 17 rooms in the south end of Old Mill were converted back to dormitory space to house female students. By the early 1950s, however, the growing number of students, cramped conditions, and concerns for fire safety in Old Mill prompted the university to plan another major renovation. In 1957, the Burlington architectural firm of Freeman French Freeman designed the international-style Lafayette Hall. This utilitarian structure that was connected to Old Mill by a second-story enclosed bridge provided the University of Vermont with much-needed classroom space for nearly 4 decades. Coinciding with the construction of Lafayette Hall as a classroom annex, the interior of Old Mill was substantially altered in 1958. The entrances on the north and south ends were blocked off, and partitions were removed to create 2 large first-floor lecture halls. For the first time, all the rooms on each floor were connected by long corridors running the entire length of the building. Numerous partitions divided the areas west of the corridors into small offices, and fireproof stairs and restrooms were added on the east side. The historical significance of Old Mill was recognized in 1975 when it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places as a contributing building within the University Green Historic District. Additional national recognition came in 1991 when the United States Postal Service commemorated the 200th anniversary of the founding of the University of Vermont with a special postcard featuring Old Mill. After several years of careful planning, in 1995, the University of Vermont launched the latest major renovation of the Old Mill building. The Burlington-based architectural firms of Northern Architects and Smith Alvarez Sienkiewicz, my apologies, provided the designs and oversight for the project. The UVM Historic Preservation Program assisted by researching the historic colors on the exterior and the historic paint schemes, wallpapers, and stenciling designs in such spaces as John Dewey Lounge, the former campus chapel. Completed in May 1997 at a cost of $17 million, Old Mill has been transformed into an up-to-date educational facility through the generosity of the people of the state of Vermont and the gifts of alumni, parents, and friends of the UVM. The interior was entirely redone with new offices, classrooms, and meeting spaces. Lafayette Hall, by the way, Lafayette Hall is connected to the back side of this building. We're standing at the front of it. Lafayette Hall was transformed into an attractive 4-story brick structure that is now the university's largest and most technologically advanced classroom building. It is linked to Old Mill by the Old Mill Annex, a modern 3-story addition with general-purpose classrooms, a computer classroom, and various service facilities. The main block of Old Mill now houses the Geography Department, Economics Department, Women's Studies Program, English Department, the Center for Holocaust Studies, the Humanities Center, the Political Science Department, the Area International Studies Office, and the Alana Studies Program. With the exterior of the historic main block carefully restored to its 1880s appearance, with the historic paint scheme on the tower and trim, and with replicas of the former dormers and chimneys installed on the roof, Old Mill conveys a strong message of respect for past achievements as it points the way towards an exciting future for the University of Vermont. So the information I just conveyed to you will be in its entirety on my website. There's really no other good place to put all of this information. It's although it would fit on Facebook, it will never fit on Instagram or, well, certainly not Twitter either. So I'm only going to have the entire information I just read to you on my website, properly cited, of course. So let's take a walk around of Old Mill. Looking forward to seeing it again. It's been a very long time since I've even been inside of it. I can't get inside today. It's Saturday, December 18, 2021. Yesterday was the last day of final exams, and this weekend the students are packing up and moving out to go home or wherever they go during their month-long break. They'll be back for classes January 17, 2022. Wow, 2022. Anyway, let's do a walk around. And here we go. Very slick. Oh. Oh. Let's see. let's start on, let's head around to the south. This is the south end here. Excuse me, my bad. This is the south end here. And this is the north end over here. Huge building. Good Lord. Let's step right up in front here. And right here in front of us is the Uvm Boulder. All I can tell you about this is that, off the top of my head, is that this boulder is affixed to this site because apparently students would roll this around. They'd roll it God knows where. I think there's a Boulder Society too, and I don't have that information here with me. I had forgotten it was actually in front of Old Mill. But let's take a walk around this thing because we can. So we should. I don't see any writing around it. Of course, the top here is covered in snow. I think there's some writing underneath here. But, see the boulder. Boulder what? I don't know what this says. The boulder. Let's try a cemetery trick, right? But I just don't know what that word is. Boulder Society. There's a Boulder Society. There is this this stuff on the ground that makes it easier, less an easier thing for birds to get through to eat the seed. But holy cow, it's a huge trip hazard. Be careful. You decide to do what I'm doing. This, now I have a video on John Purple Howard already on my channel. And this is a bust of him. This is presented by the citizens of Burlington. John Purple Howard. That's what the P stands for. And there he is. Since I could find no likeness of him when I was recording that video. Anyway, this was put back recently, and within the last 2 or 3 years, it was taken down to be refurbished. Let's see. I can get that better for you. Not much better. Sorry, I'm short. And there's a plaque over here. University of Vermont Charter granted 1791. Site dedicated to cause of education 1792. First college edifice erected 1801. Seized and occupied by the United States for military purposes during the War of 1812. Destroyed by fire May 1824. Cornerstone of new building laid by General Lafayette June 1825. This tablet is erected by the National Society of United States Daughters of 1812. State of Vermont 1909. Wow. There we go. And now you should be able to read that too. Plus I'll have a photograph on both Instagram and my Facebook Traveling for History page. Note this sign right here says Old Mill, though it's very hard to read. I think you see it better like that. And there you go, you can read it right there. Yes. All right, continuing south. Look at those beautiful, the beautiful, these right here, just below the the lintel. It's gorgeous, isn't it? My gosh. Wow. And here we have another little bronze sign. We've seen these all over the place, haven't we? If you've been watching my videos. This property has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of the Interior. Old Mill, 1825 to 1882, University of Vermont. I remember taking classes here, that's for sure. History classes, classics department classes, etymology. I seem to recall taking etymology in this building. Wow, that was so long ago. That professor is now dead. Professor Gilliland, may he rest in peace. He had a great sense of humor. And he was so interesting to listen to. I've seen these different bricks with these different years. I'm not sure their significance, but they're interesting nonetheless. As we round the corner here, there is a bell. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. All right, so here we are at the bell, and I'll get it for you. There we go. The Old Mill bell has been placed here by the students of the visual. Let's try that again. The Old Mill bell has been placed here by the students of the Visual Environment class with assistance from the Art on Campus Committee in memory of Winston M. Eddy, UVM 1943, MD 1945. Let's see what this says too. Let's see, cast by G. H. Holbrook, Medway, Massachusetts, 1830. Wow. Where's the clapper still under there? Can't see one. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just means I can't see it. Anyway, pretty interesting, isn't it now? It is. All right, let's continue. Oh, here's another one. Here is another plaque. Can I read it though? This sundial, the gift of Professor and Mrs. Willard B. Pope, was planned by Professor Betty Bandel, designed by Hermann Egger, Zurich, Switzerland, and executed by W.M. Schenck in 1970. Quote, "The sun of science is rising towards its meridian splendor," unquote. The Reverend Dr. Daniel Clark Sanders, first president of the University of Vermont, speaking in 1812. To determine Eastern Standard Time, read hour lines against the appropriate band for the current month. Honestly, there is no sundial here anymore. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's around back. Let's take a look-see. Look at the nice prominent sills. Oops. And again, more of this lovely ornamentation. You just never know what you're going to see as you walk by, right? Drains to waterway, no dumping. Oh my. Well, that building did not exist when I was a student here. Lafayette was connected by a bridge, all glass bridge. Blooming cold. It's like being in Burlington High School. Blooming cold with all those glass enclosed walkways. Brr. There's always ice from our breath on there. So this is, I guess, Lafayette. They just say it was all clad in brick nowadays. This was a, what was it, 1960s design, or maybe it was, I guess 50s, 58 designed building. So it's almost a shame they've clad it in brick, but it does look nice against Royal Tyler Theater. Started life as a gymnasium and is now part of the theater program. There's a theater there. So this is the Old Mill Annex they told us about. And it tells us that right there. Really haven't been on campus since almost since I graduated, which was back in '88. Now I will say that the tower is lighted up at night. I was here one evening after dark, and that was all lighted up, and it was quite lovely. I can't walk around Lafayette. It's walled off there. All right, let's go back around to the front of the building. Had to say, this back area reminds me of a prison exercise yard, but maybe that's just me, or maybe the courtyard of an insane asylum. And sometimes it felt like I was in an insane asylum attending college. But again, that also may just be me. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I'll meet up with you again on the other side. All right. So this stained glass window is part of the John Dewey Lounge, which is right up here, second floor, the former chapel of the University of Vermont. I'm not going to do stained glass windows justice from this angle. I can like this piece of this brick here, don't you? Rebuilt by John P. Howard, 1882. His middle name, Purple, by the way, in case you're curious where he got that. Was that a family name? No. According to the daughter of the doctor who delivered Mr. Howard, apparently when John Howard was born, he was purple, and well, his parents gave him that as a middle name. Fun to have a sense of humor. Anyway, in case you were curious. And here we go. This side of the building. It really is symmetrical. And I like looking at symmetrical buildings, to be honest. And the dormers are up there. I'm going to pause it for just a moment, and I'll meet you on the other side. And here we are on this side. Love the street lamp right there. I thought this was a bench, but this is not a bench. Ooh, a door. Must be the door they sealed off on this end. Huh. Interesting. And I don't know what that building is. That's not Lafayette. Huh. They built a lot up here since I was a student. And there's this black backside on this side as well, with the annex in the middle, and here's Lafayette right here. So definitely not Lafayette. I wonder what that is. Huh. Anyhow, so this was Old Mill, and I really enjoyed taking you on a tour around the building. This is Patricia, and I am traveling for history. Until we meet again, you have a great day. Thanks for watching.